Well, hello there and welcome back to this F1 2017 Sauber career mode. We're at round 6 in season 4 at the circuit of, what am I on about? It's Monaco, isn't it? Monte Carlo. So we're at round 6 then after the last event at Spain where we got that brilliant second behind shock of all shock winners Sergio Perez in the Force India. We've also had a sponsor bonus as well, which means we've got loads and loads of resource points. All 3 practice sessions are done, so we'll listen to the voicemail. Sergio Perez is also my new rival as well, so finally we're going against one of the better drivers. As you can see there, we've got to beat Sergio Perez in qualifying 8th for our goals, and it makes a change from having it say the Williams and the Haas guys. We've had a lot of them. Now obviously we're a lot better, higher up in the driver standings as well. We're now getting better rivals, which is about time really. So then we'll have a quick look at the old laptop. Practice sessions went all okay. Everything is purple apart from, I think it was, which one was it? Let's have a look. Tyre management can only manage green on that. So we've got 1,766 resource points, which is very nice. We've got these 2 bits that have failed here, so probably then after this race we'll definitely do these 2, which will be 750, and that'll leave us with 1,000. I am tempted to do one of the ultimate upgrades on the powertrain, but I think I'll leave that, and we'll move immediately down here to start working on this as well. So we're now very, very close to having the powertrain and the chassis all completed apart from the ultimate upgrades, and then we can move on with the aero part of it. As you look there on the right hand side, after the Spanish Grand Prix, quite a lot of teams improved. Ferrari, Force India, we improved as well with our major upgrade coming in after the last race. Renault, Toro Rosso did as well, and McLaren. So we're still not pulling away from the likes of Renault at the moment, but I'm sure as the season goes on we will consistently creep up. Like I said, at the end of the season I want to be around about the 500 target there on the left hand side, which Force India have just broken into. So if we can get close to Force India, that's all I really need. As for the units, gearbox, unfortunately this is now our 6th of 6 races we could use to this unit before we get a penalty. We can change it now and get a penalty, but after this race, if we manage to get to the end of it with the gearbox, we can change it for free. Currently at 61%, so I'm expecting problems in either qualifying or more than likely in the race, which is what happened last season. We was on course for a top 10 result, and the gearbox unfortunately pushed me outside the points. As for the power units, we're on to units number 2 for everything now for the qualifying and the race sessions. I think the highest is the ICE, which is at 19%, so nothing much to worry about there. Not much else to talk about then. Like I said, practice pace was okay. FP3 was in the wet for the first half, so I just did a few token laps, and we ended up being quickest by 0.8 of a second. Excuse me, but then when the dry tyres came out we slipped down the order. We're sort of on the fringes of the top 10. Monaco is obviously not my favourite circuit, but I believe it is a drive for qualifying and the race. So we'll go to the track then, and hopefully we can get through Q1 without any incidents. So here we go, and Q1 is completed. Perez is having a blinder of a season so far. Fastest in the first session by over 1/10 of a second. Bottas in 3rd, Vettel in 5th. Did their lap times on the super softs. I might do my super soft one in Q2, you never know. But we've ended the session in 8th place anyway. Hulkenberg in the top 10 as well, and Ricciardo in 10th place. Further down then, let's have a quick look. Eliminated in Sainz in 16th. Pascal Wehrlein, look at that. He's actually off the back row of the grid. Is this now the time that we start to see Wehrlein creep up the order? Because I'm desperate for him to now start nipping at the door of the top 10. We need points from him if we want to have a decent chance at the constructors. So he's in 17th, Massa in 18th, Palmer 19th, and Stoffel Van Dorn at the back of the field in 20th. We did 2 flying laps, incident free, no damage on the car, so hopefully we can keep it going into Q2 and get ourselves into the top 10 shootout for Q3. Look at this. Yeah, I'm just having in my ear there through my headphones, Jeff's just telling me we've got a oil pressure system, lubrication system there, a 5-minute fault, which is not too great, because by the time it's fixed we will come out probably with a bit of a heavy track. So a bit disappointing that, but yet again this is a new thing now where we start to get failures sometimes, so I'd rather have them in qualifying than the race. But yeah, a bit disappointing, but we'll wait 5 minutes and then get out on track and see if we can get through to Q3. So unfortunately on my first flying lap in Q2 I made a mistake at the swim pool section and ended up in the wall. Took too much curb on the inside, clipped the inside wall of the car, then spat me out onto the other side of the track into the wall, completely destroying the car before we could set a lap time. So we've been eliminated in Q2, and this is probably a good opportunity now to maybe purchase some extra parts, maybe even change the gearbox as well, and then start at the back of the field, which is not something I want to do at Monaco because it means we'll be stuck in heavy traffic, but it should be an entertaining race anyway, trying to carve our way through the field. But anyway, through to Q3, although we won't see the final result. We'll have to wait for the grid announcement before the race. Raikkonen, Vettel, Hamilton, Bottas, Perez now down in 5th, Verstappen, Hulkenberg again inside the top 10, Ocon, Ricciardo, and believe it or not, Lance Stroll. And Ricciardo has gone for the super soft tyres, so he'll be starting on the harder of the two compounds. Eliminated then Kvyat, Alonso, Grosjean, Magnussen, and ourselves with no time. So very disappointing, but it's a good opportunity now to order some new parts, so we don't have to do it later on in the season. Probably change the gearbox as well, because it is definitely on its last legs, and see what we can do from the back of the field. So disappointing qualifying session, probably the worst one we've had for quite a while. Looks like we're going to only end up with 35 points then, but it does take us over 1800. I'd like to hit 2000. Because actually I'd like to hit 1900, because if that's possible then it means we can do 2 minor upgrades on the aerodynamics, and we can get both of the previously failed upgrades on the powertrain done as well. But yeah, not a good qualifying. You can see they were already losing to Perez. We'll probably lose that as well. The reputation with all the teams has gone down a little bit, unfortunately, because we crashed in qualifying. So we'll listen to the voicemail for the race and see what that's going to be. Hopefully it's quite realistic. We're starting down the order at Monaco. 11th. Yeah, I think we can. I think we can score points. It's just it's going to take yeah, a bit of work, I think, getting up the order, certainly at Monaco, where it's very difficult to overtake. So then we'll have a look at the power units. I think this is, like I said, a good opportunity then to order some new bits on the car. So we'll go all the way through this and get all these done. Oh, think of the grid penalties. It's like being a McLaren driver, isn't it? You have 50 grid penalties now. Right, we'll go back to unit number 2, because I don't want to be using brand new ones here. It's disappointing that we've had to do this, but it doesn't matter. It's one of those, and we'll change the gearbox as well. Brilliant. So there we go then, brand new gearbox, and yeah, all the bits have got a little bit of wear in them, but it's not too major. Right then, so we'll go to the race. We'll have a look at the grid formation, and then have a look at our strategy now that it's changing, because we'll be starting at the back. So then, with no subtitles or commentary, I might as well take you through the grid myself rather than sit here in silence. Bottas then has taken pole by 2 tenths ahead of Sebastian Vettel in the Ferrari. And then on row 2 we have Lewis Hamilton and Daniel Ricciardo in the leading Red Bull. 5th and 6th, Raikkonen and Verstappen, and Perez is down in 7th after being fastest in Q1. Hulkenberg, Ocon and Lance Stroll complete the top 10. Then we have Kvyat, Alonso, the 2 Haases on row 7, Grosjean ahead of Magnussen, Sainz, Verline up to 16th, Massa, Palmer, Van Dorn, and then us at the back of the field with all of our grid penalties. So then at the back of the grid, first time that's happened to me for a while. Let's look at the race strategy again. Right, it's going to be sunny and then cloudy, bloody blah. We'll bump the fuel up to 4 laps extra. I don't want to start on the ultra softs. We'll go super softs and then possibly onto the ultras. Yeah, it sounds about right. It's 9 seconds quicker than doing the 2-stop. But if we can go long on the super soft tyres and stay out of trouble, then hopefully we'll be able to pick up a few positions once people make pit stops. So yeah, not much else we can do really. It's Monaco, it's difficult to overtake, so we've got to take our time with this. But we've got 39 laps to try and get ourselves inside the top 10, and of course survive without binning it into the wall. So we'll get the formation up out of the way, and then get round 6 of season 4 on the go. Here we are then, 5 lights coming on now at Monaco in last position. Gonna need a lot of luck. Lights out now and away we go. Let's try and make a few positions up into turn 1 if we can, as long as no one tries to cut me off. Oh, it's Rosso and the Haas have made contact. They've got into the wall, up to 12th place. Wow, we've nearly overtaken half the field. I've got a warning, I don't care about that. Up to 12th then, good start. Up the inside of Stroll, that's cheeky. Fuck it, up the inside of the Renault as well. Try and get ourselves inside the top 10. Oh, this is not going to work. Sorry, mate. Squeezed them in the wall. We're into the points already. How have we managed that? So, end of lap 1. We're already inside the top 10 in 10th. Up ahead of me is Kvyat and Ocon, I believe. They're both on the ultra soft tyres. So, if I could sort of stick with them on these super soft tyres, then that will hopefully help us to jump them once we get to a pit stop, or if I get an opportunity to overtake them beforehand, then I will. So completing lap 2, still in 10th place. We're staying with these guys. Lance Stroll behind us is dropping back all the time because that Williams is pretty crap, so that's quite helpful at the moment. We don't have to focus on anyone behind us, and we can focus all of our attention on the cars ahead. Looks like it's a bit of a train forming. Whoever's in third place is going a bit slowly because the top two have absolutely buggered off into the distance, and we're all sort of following line astern. Meanwhile, Stroll continues to drop back. He's probably the best part of 10 seconds behind us now. And Verline is in that second train. He's in, I think, 13th or 14th place, so he's doing all right. But for us at the moment, not much we can do. Everyone seems quite similar on pace, so we might have to wait till the pit stops. So we're coming into that 10 then. Absolutely nothing has changed since the last time we spoke. You probably won't hear much from me as we just clip the wall there, but no damage, as I'm in full sweaty try-hard mode at the moment. I hate Monaco, so even if we finish this race, it'll be an achievement. But one thing to talk about though, Stroll continues to drop back, so give it another, I don't know, 7 or 8 laps and we could make a pit stop and still rejoin in 10th place. So that is good news. Well, I've just noticed we're up into 9th position. Hamilton's made a pit stop and he's gone back onto another set of ultra soft tyres, so he will have to pit again, just like the rest of us. And he's come out in a lot of clear air. So not too sure what happened to Hamilton there. That's an early pit stop to come off the ultras at the end of lap 10. Someone else is in the pits. Is it Vettel perhaps? No, it's Bottas. So both Mercedes have pitted early here. And I've got Bottas, oh look at that, right up behind me now. So that's going to be fun. Oh, I've clipped the wall. That's not helpful. Yeah, I'll change onto the soft tyres. We're going to pit at the end of this lap. So then we're coming into the pits now. We're going to change on a set of soft tyres and change the front wing. Hopefully we do rejoin ahead of that train behind us, and then we can just focus on getting to the end of the race and scoring some points. Here we are then. I think we're just about going to do it. Just about. Look at that. We hold on to 10th place. Now then, we're on a set of soft tyres. This should comfortably get us to the end of the race. So hopefully some things happen ahead of us and we can do better than just one single point. So just starting lap 19, almost half distance in this race now. I think pretty much everyone has made their pit stop now. Both Mercedes still need to pit again, but we won't be passing them anytime soon. They're on the ultra score on the softs, and they're just a little bit quicker than us anyway. Hulkenberg's behind us now. Lance Stroll left it a bit too late to pit, so everyone got an undercut on him. But we're pretty much safe in 10th place, although I don't think we're going to be improving on this position unless something happens ahead of us. So it could be a boring second half of this race. Just got to focus on keep on pushing and keeping it clean. Ah, oh, clip the wall. Oh, we're out as well. I've hit the curb too hard on the inside. Damn it. So there we go, then there's the final results. Not much changed by the looks of it. Vettel wins over the two stopping Mercedes, who claim second and third. Raikkonen in fourth place. Then the two Red Bulls and Force Indias 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th. Kvyat in 9th, and Hulkenberg picks up the final point after our late retirement, mid-race retirement I should say. Alonso in 11th place, followed by Grosjean, Magnussen, Sainz, Massa, Palmer, Verline in 17th, Van Dorn and Lance Stroll. We was the only retirement, unfortunately. Yeah, just clipped the wall, I think, was it just by Tabac, I think it was, and then that put me all out of shape and all understeery in the swimming pool section as well. Clipped the curb on the outside, on the inside I should say, and that spat me out to the outside into the wall, so a bit of a shame really. But nothing really lost too much. I think the best we could have done would have been that 10th place. Monaco is just a terrible circuit for me. It's a shame that our good run has to come to an end here, but we've got some nice races coming up soon where I'll be looking to bounce back. So we'll have a look at the standings then. We've now dropped down to 4th place, 32 points behind Vettel. Raikkonen up into 2nd place. Perez remains in 3rd. Other movers, Hulkenberg and Alonso, have moved up, and Kvyat with his first points for the season pushes him ahead of Magnussen and Grosjean. 4 drivers still yet to score: Grosjean, Verline, Van Dorn and Stroll. In the constructors, Ferrari continues to dominate, 76 points ahead of Mercedes, who now jump up ahead of Force India. Red Bull jump up ahead of us finally. I think we'll be nailed on pretty much for 5th place this season. We're the only driver that's scoring for Sauber, whilst both Force India and Red Bull drivers are consistently scoring as well. Further down, there's a massive gap, as you can imagine, to Renault on 12 points, then Toro Rosso on 7, McLaren 5, Williams 4 and Haas on the single point. So then the resource points for the race, only 62, and the first driver bonus as well. Another 65, so it does take us over the 1,900 target. The rivalry update, yeah, we're now losing. We'll probably lose that as well, and the reputation has gone down massively as well because of our race retirement. The career score then for Monaco, it would have been good in the practice session. Qualifying the race, pretty poor as well. So this is going to be quite low, 6,435, which is yeah, probably one of the lowest we'll have all season. And finally, the core competency. We've now done 60 races as the first driver for Sauber, which means from the next race onwards we receive a first drive bonus of 15%. So if all goes well, we should be looking at about 70 to 80 extra resource points. Of course, every little helps now that we're focusing on the aerodynamics. So then, disappointing overall in the race, but we can look forward to doing some upgrades. Right, okay, 1,928. So then the powertrain, we're going to get the pistons done, a minor upgrade. So then the redesigned pistons result in less engine friction and more finely tuned combustion, thereby increasing power. And above, the engine power advances to the fuel source, increases combustibility, resulting in additional power. So then we're going to develop that, and we're going to develop that. And as you can see on the right hand side there, both of these will definitely come in because they failed previously, and that will now put us as the best team on the powertrain performance comparison. Over to the chassis, we are the best team as well over there. So very nice indeed. Leaves us with 1,178. So we haven't got enough for an ultimate upgrade, but it does mean that we can start chipping away at the aero. Now I am tempted here to try and get these done without them failing, and let's try to get all these 2,000 to get it cheaper. I mean, it's only 500 there to increase the risk of or decrease the risk of it failing, and in total it's 37.5%. so if I do that and then spend 600 down here, I don't know really, is there anything else we can really look at? Not really. These are going to be done at the end of the season. So then aero, we haven't got enough. I'm tempted. How much for two? 12.50. Am I tempted to save all of this up and maybe do this? I'll tell you, I'm not too sure actually. I'm not too sure. I'm tempted to save some resource points. Yeah, I'll tell you what we're going to do to make our life a lot easier and to try and get up there. We're going to develop this because there's a lot here. There is a lot here. You have to remember that. And I want to kind of get all this done as quickly as possible so we can get up there. So it leaves us with 678, which means that we can do this upgrade as well. But if you look there, it's only 750 to do that as well, which is a 15% decrease. So I think what we'll do, we'll leave it. We've got these two upgrades coming in for the powertrain, so that's very nice indeed. And I think we'll leave it at that. So yeah, very disappointing in the end really that we've retired from the race. The best we were going to get out of it anyway was a 10th place, so it's no real loss. The only thing that it's affected us on, obviously we've missed out on, let's say 50 to 60 resource points, and also a point in the championship, which is pretty much all that we was going to gain from this race. It's a shame, but we can move on to the next few races: Austria, Canada, Baku as well. Tracks that I really do like and should be expected to do quite well at. So thank you very much for watching this episode, and hopefully I'll see you for the next one very soon.